All right, let's talk about marathon goals. If you're a runner, you've probably asked yourself about that magic number, the secret amount of training that's going to unlock your next personal best. Well, today we're cutting through all the noise to give you a straight, data-driven look at what it really takes.
It's the big one, isn't it? This is the question every single runner asks. Doesn't matter if you're just trying to cross that finish line for the first time or if you're chasing a really specific time. It's the puzzle we're all trying to solve. How much is enough? Okay, so let's get right into the numbers. We're going to start with what's basically a roadmap, something based on real data that can help you line up your effort with your ambition.
So check this out. You can see a super clear trend here. The faster the goal, the higher the monthly mileage has to be. If you're aiming for a sub 4-hour marathon, you're looking at around 150 to 200 kilometers a month. But if you're chasing that elusive sub 3, whoa, that jumps way up to 250 to 300 kilometers. Now, these are guidelines, of course, but they show a really direct link between your training volume and your performance on race day.
And here is a perfect real-world example from Koro, the author of our source material. He was running about 225 kilometers a month, and that got him a 3-hour and 25-minute marathon. See how that fits perfectly into that 200 to 250 kilometer range for a sub 330 goal we just saw? It just goes to show you how these benchmarks really do play out.
But here's what's really interesting. Bumping up your mileage isn't just about spending more time with your shoes on the pavement. It's actually about what that extra time lets you do. It totally unlocks new opportunities in your training. See, with more training volume, you can build a much smarter, more balanced plan. It means you actually have time for easy recovery jogs, so you don't burn out. You have time for those crucial long runs that build endurance. You can do pace runs to really dial in your goal speed, and even build-up runs to teach your body how to finish strong. It's this variety, this strategy, not just the raw mileage, that really takes your running to the next level. Okay, so we've talked about kilometers, which is great, but what does that actually look like on your calendar? Let's translate all that mileage into the one thing we all have to manage every single day: our time.
And wow, when you see it laid out like this, the weekly time commitment it's significant. A sub 4-hour goal, that's going to take about 6 to 8 hours a week. Want to get under 330? Now you're climbing to 8 to 10 hours. And for that sub 3 goal, you're looking at a serious 10 to 13 hours every single week. That's a huge investment. And seeing these numbers usually makes people think one thing.
Yeah, seeing those hours, 8, 10, maybe even 13 hours a week, can feel pretty daunting. And for a lot of people, it immediately brings up what feels like the biggest roadblock of all. Which brings us to the biggest hurdle for most of us, right? The no time myth. But what if the problem isn't that we don't have enough time? What if it's really about how we think about the time we have? The answer might actually surprise you. I bet a lot of you are thinking this right now. 10 hours a week? Are you kidding me? I am way too busy for that. And look, that is the most common and totally understandable reaction. But let's just challenge that idea for a second. Here is such a powerful way to reframe this. The common excuse is, I'm just too busy. But the reality for so many dedicated runners is something totally different. They find that running doesn't just take time, it actually helps them manage their time better. It becomes this incredible tool for efficiency, not a drain on your schedule. And get this, there's even some fascinating data to back this idea up. A Japanese study found that over half of the male runners they surveyed had a pretty high annual income. Now, hold on, the point is not that running is going to make you rich. Not at all. It's that the kind of discipline and focus it takes to train consistently often translates into success in other areas of your life, like your career. So here's the real magic. The skills you build while you're out there training are incredibly transferable. Running gives you that mental clarity to focus better on everything else. The discipline builds perseverance, it builds confidence, and maybe most importantly, the simple act of making time for your runs forces you to be way more efficient and purposeful with the rest of your day. So if it's not about having time, but about creating it, how do you actually do that? Let's get really practical and look at a simple system for finding those hours in your week. Here's the author's personal strategy for hitting 400 kilometers a month. And it's pretty simple. It's a 2-part system. First, train in the morning. Just get it done before the chaos of the day has a chance to mess with your plans. And second, protect Sunday morning for your long run. Schedule it like it's the most important meeting of your week. One you absolutely cannot miss. Of course, not everyone's a morning person. That's just one example. The real key here is to look at your own schedule. Maybe your golden hour is during your lunch break, or maybe it's late at night after everyone else is in bed. The trick is to find that time, claim it, and then protect it like it's gold. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this question. It's not about if you have the time, but where it is. Take a hard look at your week. Find those little pockets of wasted or low-value time, and then decide what you're willing to do to hit that goal. So, where will you find your time?